What if retirement at 65 isn't the finish line you always imagined, but just the beginning of something new? You know what no one tells you about turning 65? It doesn't mean you get to stop working. Yeah, this might come as a surprise to you. More than half of Americans over 65 are still working, full-time or part-time. And you may be asking, wait, what? I thought 65 was the magic number. The finish line. The golden ticket to slow mornings, long walks, and finally reading that stack of books on your nightstand. But instead, you're still clocking in, still answering emails, still showing up, and you're not alone. A famous 2023 U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics report found that 1 in 3 Americans over 65 are still in the workforce, and that number is rising. The reason isn't because they love their job, neither is it because they haven't saved enough, but because, surprise, retirement isn't always possible. And here's the thing no one wants to admit. Working past 65 isn't always a failure. Sometimes it's a choice, a quiet rebellion, a way to stay sharp, stay connected, and stay alive. But let's be brutally frank too. It's also exhausting. Your body aches more, your energy dips by 3 p.m., and sometimes you wonder, is this it? Is this what the rest of my life looks like? Yeah, I've asked that too. And if you're sitting there thinking, why am I still doing this? Let's talk. Because the reasons you might need to work past 65 are deeper than money. And the ways to make it easier are also simpler than you think. Let's start with the truth. It's not just about the money. But yeah, it's mostly about the money. Let's not pretend. For many of you, it comes down to dollars and cents. A 2022 study from the National Institute on Retirement Security found that nearly 60% of American households have less than $5,000 saved for retirement. $5,000. That's not retirement. That's 3 months of rent. And if you're one medical bill away from disaster, you don't have the luxury of stopping. So you keep going, you clock in, you show up, even when your knees protest, even when your mind says, I'm done. Because the alternative, it's not peace, it's panic. And that's not a moral failing, it's reality. But here's the myth we've been sold. If you just saved more, planned better, lived frugally, you'd be free by 65. Sounds nice on paper, doesn't it? But life doesn't work that way. Jobs disappear, markets crash, health crises happen, family needs you, and suddenly your perfect plan goes up in smoke. Hence, you've got no choice but to adapt. You work, and you don't owe anyone an apology for it. Working after 65 isn't just for money, it's meaning now. Let's talk about the quiet reason. The one you don't admit out loud. You might still be working because it gives you purpose. I know. We're told retirement is freedom. But for a lot of you, freedom feels empty. Because you no longer have a schedule, you no longer have goals, and people no longer rely on you. And that silence you feel within you can be loud. That's why a 2021 study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that adults over 65 who stopped working completely were 42% more likely to experience cognitive decline and depression within 5 years, compared to those who stayed engaged in meaningful work. 42%. That's not a coincidence. Your brain thrives on challenge, on routine, on contribution. And when you take that away, it's not just boredom, it's loss. So, the only option is for you to keep working, not because you have to, but because you need to. Because being needed matters. Because solving problems feels good. Because showing up every day gives your life shape. And that's not a weakness, that's sheer wisdom. Your body's changed, but your mind can adapt. Let's be honest and look at this. Reasons for working past 65 from another perspective. You're not 45 anymore. Your back aches, your eyes tire. Your energy doesn't bounce back like it used to. And some days just getting out of bed feels like a win. But here's what most productivity advice ignores. Your brain is still capable of learning, adapting, and thriving well past 65. Neuroscience shows that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't stop with age. It just works differently. Instead of speed, you gain depth. Instead of multitasking, you gain focus. Instead of reacting, you respond. And that is an advantage. But only if you work with your body, not against it. So how do you make working past 65 easier? You don't do it by pushing harder, but by getting smarter. Let me give you 3 real science-backed ways. No fluff. No just say positive nonsense here. Just practical tools. 1. Redefine work. It doesn't have to be a 9 to 5 first. Let go of the idea that work has to look like it did at 40. Because it doesn't. You don't have to be chained to a desk. You don't have to commute an hour each way. You don't have to answer every email by 9 a.m. Try this. Think in terms of contribution, not hours. Maybe you consult 2 days a week. Maybe you teach a skill you've spent decades mastering. Maybe you freelance from your kitchen table. A 2023 Stanford study found that adults over 65 who worked flexibly, even part-time, reported higher life satisfaction, better sleep, and lower stress than those in full-time roles or complete retirement. Why? Because flexibility is equal to control, and control is equal to peace. Thus, I want you to ask yourself, what kind of work gives me energy instead of draining it? What can I do that feels meaningful without breaking my body? Then build that. Not the job you should have, the one that fits you now. 2. Protect your energy like it's gold. After 65, energy isn't infinite. It's limited. And once it's gone, it takes forever to refill. You can't afford to waste it. But most of us still operate like we're in our 30s, burning the candle at both ends, then wondering why we're exhausted. Here's a better way. Treat your energy like a battery, and charge it before it dies. Just try this hack. Work in 90-minute blocks, then rest. Take a 20-minute walk after lunch. Say no to meetings that could be an email. Eat protein-rich snacks to avoid the 3 p.m. crash. Stop working by 4 p.m. if you can. Simple? Yes, but powerful, because small habits protect big energy. And here's a truth from ancient wisdom. The Tao Te Ching says, nature does not hurry, yet everything gets done. You don't have to rush. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to show up in a way that honors your body. 3. Create a third space between work and rest. Most people think it's either all work or total retirement. But there's a third option. A third space. That's something in between. Maybe it's volunteering at a community center, mentoring young people in your field, writing a memoir or starting a blog, teaching a class at a local college. This isn't full-time work. It's not retirement. It's a contribution without burnout, and it's growing fast. A 2022 AARP survey found that over 50% of workers over 60 want to transition into encore careers, roles that are meaningful, flexible, and lower stress. And guess what? They're happier than those who fully retire or stay in high-pressure jobs, because they've found balance. And balance, that's the real goal. What if you want to work but feel guilty? Here's the quiet guilt a lot of you carry. I should be retired. I should be relaxing. I should be done. But you're not. And you feel like you're failing the retirement dream. But here's the rebellion approach you need to take. You don't owe the world a slow fade. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to stop growing. In fact, working past 65 isn't a sign you're behind. It's a sign you're alive. And if you want to keep working, that's not desperation. That's passion. And passion doesn't expire at 65. It evolves. So, stop apologizing for showing up. Stop feeling guilty for being useful. You're not clinging to the past. You're building a new kind of future. One where work isn't a prison. It's a choice. But what if you're just tired? Let's not romanticize this. Some of you are working because you have to, and it's hard. Your body hurts. Your mind is tired. And some days, you just want to lie down and not get up. And that's okay. You don't have to lean in or find joy in every moment. Sometimes, you're just surviving, and that's valid. But even in survival mode, there are ways to make it easier. That's why I want you to try this. Negotiate flexibility. Ask for remote days, shorter hours, fewer meetings. Outsource what you can. Hire help for chores. Use voice-to-text tools. Automate emails. Set micro-boundaries. No work after 5 p.m. No emails on Sunday. 1 day a week completely off. Talk to someone. A therapist, a financial advisor, a trusted friend. You don't have to carry it all. And if you're working just to survive, know this. You're not behind. You're doing your best, and your best is enough. Final thought. Your life isn't over, it's changing. Working past 65 doesn't mean you failed. It means you're adapting. Maybe you're still working because you need to. Maybe you're still working because you want to. Either way, your value isn't tied to a retirement date. It's tied to how you show up, how you care, how you keep going. And here's the quiet truth. The best years of your life don't have to be behind you. They can be right now. Even if you're still working, even if your body aches, even if retirement didn't go as planned, you're not behind. you're exactly where you need to be. And if you keep showing up, day after day, that's not just work, that's courage. And that's worth honoring. Every video here is designed to help you become the best version of yourself. If that's your goal, subscribe and turn on notifications to stay motivated. And don't keep this to yourself. Share it with someone who's still working past 65 and feels like they're the only one. Until next week, be kind to yourself.